All right, let's get into our first leg of discussion. 57 days on, 6 boys from the Lagos State Model College, Igbonla in May, are yet to regain freedom. And we've been asking question, when will they return? But you can join the conversation online by tweeting at TVC Breakfast on Twitter using the hashtag Epe6. Our guest in the studio is trade unionist and acting General Secretary of the Democratic Socialist Movement, Comrade Dagatola. Comrade, it's good to have you join us right now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As a comrade, I know you've been following this development all the while. Is it time for all of us to hit the streets?
Let me begin that the very first thing is to make an appeal to America and its gangs, and that these boys have been gone for 57 days from their families, and it's important. I haven't cutted 30 million naira away, you know, to tell Nigerians that they are still demanding 1.5 million to transport them. The question we should be asking is that were these children taken out of Nigeria? So we must first and foremost make this kind-hearted appeal to America and its boys of gangs that they are taking this, they are stretching this too far, and that they are turning this issue to a second Chibok affair, and that will not provide any good omen to all of us, you know, as Nigerians. So,
do you think these people even have the conscience at all to even listen to any cries or plea to them? America, of course, is alleged to be the head of the gang that kidnapped these students.
Not America as a country.
Not America as a country. We needed to just clarify that, because some people were wondering, America, you know. So what exactly should we now be doing so that this doesn't become another Chibok case?
Well, you just raised the question of it in the street, and I think more and more Nigerians need to be concerned about this current issue because of all of the danger signals. First, to have to go and kidnap children from school itself is a threat to the fundamental basis of building any country, education. To get to a stage where parents no longer feel safe to send their children to school. Of course, we're in a country where we generate our electricity, generate our water, but we don't generate our private schools in our various family, in our various homes. We must not get to that situation. So it's important to see that this issue concerns all Nigerians, all members, all families, all working class families are concerned as to this particular issue. Not just the 6 families that are concerned. It's also important to begin to look at the root of this issue. What is the basis? Can we run away from the social economic contradictions that Nigeria is? Can we run away from a country that has a huge unemployment figure of over 28 million? Can we run away from the fact that Oxfam released a clear statistics and indices indicating the level of poverty in the country of over 100 million Nigerians living below poverty line? All of these social economic contradictions obviously are not excuses for people to go into crimes, but we must not gloss over this singular fact. But I haven't stated them. It's important to also raise the question of the state of the police. After 57 days, what are the efforts of the police? They can't continue to throw a wolf over our face that they are investigating and that facts should not be told to the Nigerian public. Yeah,
but that's what the police is saying, that they're actually on top of this. And even the governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, has said that we cannot begin to splash what we're doing on the pages of newspapers. Otherwise, it further jeopardizes the condition of these kids. Aren't you confident that the police
actually are not
and government really can deliver at the end of the day?
We are not in space. Nigeria must not claim to be any different from other advanced countries in the part of the world where issues like this occur. And all members of the public are aware of the clear-cut details. The truth is that the Nigerian police is not appropriately equipped to deal with issues like this. 56, 57 days, and they are telling us that they are on top of the issue. Because if we don't state this, at this stage, what level of assistance has the police procured if they are not appropriately placed in appropriate position to deal with this issue? What level of assistance has the Nigerian military come forward with better advanced equipment to provide assistance to them? We have a Nigerian police currently that is largely a traffic-oriented police. A large chunk of officers of the Nigerian police are busy on the streets, and we know what they are busy doing. The level of intelligence gathering and information gathering in the Nigerian police is extremely poor. Again, and because if we don't raise this, we are going to have a situation where after these old children are released, Nigerians will return home dry and think that all of the issues are resolved. What is the state, how prepared is the Nigerian police to deal with issues outside the moment they leave the streets and roads of all the roads in the country? The moment they leave their roadblocks.
The IG of police raised the alarm only recently that poor funding will not bring about an efficient and effective police force. And when we had that chat with the former top police officers, one almost was sympathetic towards the police for their inability, seemingly, not to, or their inability to actually tackle some of these challenges.
Now, and this is where the whole discourse on restructuring on state police makes no meaning to people like us. The entirety of all of the organs and structures of the state do not necessarily have all of the necessary equipment to function effectively. But yet, the entirety of the ruling elites, both in the states, and in various political parties, are busy pronouncing and shouting all over the country the need for restructuring. Take the police, for example. What is needed to run an efficient, effective police? If you go through the records, you'll be amazed how effective Nigerian police officers are when they leave this country. They go to foreign missions because faced with all of the necessary equipment, they are willing to deliver their best to operate appropriately. In a situation like this, 6 children have been taken away from their homes. Money has been delivered. Who delivered this money? Didn't we have the necessary intelligent gathering and equipment to ensure that once a money has been delivered, the police, the next 2-3 days, this issue should be over. Because if we had had no direct contact with the kidnappers all of this period, the process of delivering the money, in spite of all of the warnings the kidnappers will give, that the families alone should be involved, this delivery of money or exchange of money will be done in a public space. It provides...
Yeah, but according to reports, it was actually done by, some of the parents. About 2 or 3 of the parents were the ones who delivered the money. And then the question of, are they further complicating the issue? That in itself arises.
No, you can't hold the family responsible because given their own situation, thinking that will resolve...
They have to do anything to get their kids back.
Exactly. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to raise is that this exchange, the moment it was done, the police were not able to do any follow-up, both in terms of, because you don't have to be physically present in a criminal scene to know that an exchange is going on. The moment that you are aware that is going to take place, the police, with all of the necessary training and equipment, should have been following all members of the family without even them knowing that they have been followed. And on that basis, we will have been able to establish the appropriate contacts with some of these kidnappers, and maybe at this stage, the issues will be resolved.
One wonders if after 57 days and counting, these boys have not been found within the terrain or within the geographical space that we have as far as the terrain in Lagos and the environs are concerned. Does it come across to you somehow that it's possible these kids are not anywhere close by, anywhere around Lagos or something?
It is not impossible. It is also not impossible that they could even be out of the country. Because when you do investigation, you take into cognizance all of the possibilities. When Evans' case was top of the news, it was not strange to us that he was a cross-border kidnapper. So it is also not impossible that there can be network cells outside of the country. But now that you have raised it, it raises the fundamental point that we are stating. The Nigerian police is not appropriately prepared to handle issues like this. The fact that it took place in Lagos does not necessarily mean that they must not spread their dragnet outside of Lagos through to Ogun State and other parts of the country. And on the basis of a united networking Nigerian police, you will be able to gather information from all points of the country to be able to trace the appropriate spots. But again, too, we are living in a space age. the country, I think some 8-10 years ago, was informed that a satellite was launched. What is the essence of this satellite that was launched? If in clear issues like this, you can't bring that into top view to be able to appropriate adequate information. Yeah. Even at that, if the police does not admit its inability to efficiently rescue these children, it's also denying itself the ability of assistance from other countries that could necessarily provide us with the necessary instruments and network to be able to pinpoint where possible locations of these individuals are.
But is it really just about the police, or is there more to it? Like the parents themselves have even asked, what more do these people want after they have collected 31 million naira allegedly, and they're still expecting more money? What exactly do you think is going on in the mind of these kidnappers? If you want to, be a psychologist or psychiatrist,
I think this question is extremely very important. Today we're informed of 7 banks with about 3.4 billion naira. The truth is that for a lot of young people in this country, the ruling elites, are washed with too much money. It's important to state this because for kidnapping for a lot of people has become big business. And a lot of people think that situations like this provide them to appropriate enormous resources. Because if you kidnap somebody and the person says he only has 10,000 naira, and you are convinced that he only has 10,000 naira, you'll be left with no other choice to let him go. But the truth is that the kind of money that is awashed in this country, tied to practically little or nothing, is convincing a lot of young people to think that you need to go for a single kill and go for a full grab. But this in itself is an entirely wrong mentality that has been brought into place on the basis of a neoliberal philosophical framework, that is not ready to invest all of the resources of this country appropriately in developing the country. Again, to Serap, just last week took a case to court in relation to our political officers having to earn double wages. Again, too, there is the question of the fact that those who work, what do they earn? And this is already a growing psychology in the minds of a lot of young people, that even if you work, what will ultimately come out of it? It's important to state that we have a minimum wage at 18,000 naira that is over 500% less than what was the minimum wage in the 1980s. And how do I mean? The minimum wage in 1981 was 125 naira.
Which had a lot of value then. Which
had a lot of value. What I want to do is to give you the dollar figure.
Yes,
the dollar figure was at 56 kobo a dollar. So what this means is that you had a minimum wage of the 80s that was over $220. If you had to translate what $220 is in today's figure, you'll be talking about 80-something thousand naira.
Yeah.
So an 80-something thousand naira for minimum wage today will even be giving Nigerians the standard of living of the 1980s. We're talking of 30, 40 years back. This is also another huge factor, another huge reason. Because if we say that you have a figure of over 28 million young people that are unemployed, of course, this is not taking out of the fact the attempt through series of programs to create unemployment for young people with a figure of 30, 40,000 naira. It doesn't resolve the contradiction ultimately.
Okay.
In resolving this question of kidnap, ultimately there are big fundamental issues.
Okay.
A living wage is expected for Nigerians. There's a need to create jobs. There's a need to change the current philosophical framework of the economic philosophy of the country to an economic philosophy. And this is what should be agitating us when we use the word restructuring.
It's okay. Well, when it comes to philosophy, ideologies and all, I wonder if all those things are present in the mind of an average Nigerian that is struggling to survive and get food to eat today and then sleep and wake up tomorrow and think of how the food is going to be present.
And what what Daga has said in essence is that the reward system is not one that is encouraging.
Exactly.
It doesn't make you want to wake up in the morning and you're excited that you're going to work.
Exactly.
What you will get is not even commensurate with what you put in.
All right, let's bring Foladele now.
Okay.
There are some comments buzzing on social media on this regard.
Good morning,
Fola, good morning.
Good morning,
Nice to see
comments
you.
buzzing on this. Good morning, Daga. All right, so let's find out what people are saying about this. 57 days. Kingsley Oramadike says, it's so sad they're abandoned to suffer because their parents are not politicians. Lagos State government could have done better. Daddy O says, bring back our boys, and Lagos State government, please act fast. Hashtag rescue Epe 6 now. Ayolala Abdul says, come on, 100 million naira, they can't pay. Come on, 100 million naira, they can't pay.
Who is they that will pay that? That's the
Oh,
point.
you'll find out.
Because the amount of monies counted or mentioned on papers is so common that someone will say 100 million, just come on, 100 million.
We'll
because
get
people
to
are
that.
used to that.
We'll get to that. And then someone says, come on, Ke, please, which is similar to what Ngozi just said. And well, he then explained what he meant. And he said, it's common for a government that rakes about 50 billion naira at least monthly. Besides, same huge sum was paid for Oba of Isolo for their release. Okay. And Wabilai says, Sai, almost 2 months. Those poor little kids, Lagos State government should please up their game. And the last one here from Uyi says, the silence has been deafening. I can't take the last one because of time. But
exactly.
Daga, someone here is saying, look, 100 million naira should be nothing to Lagos State government because of how much they, have monthly. What do you think about that?
Well, 100 million is huge money. If you even ask me, 1 million is huge money to take people away from
big,
the,
exactly.
Obviously, what that person is saying is that the Lagos State government should
be able to
actually be
afford
the
it.
one paying this ransom, which is totally outrageous.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, obviously I agree.
You agree that the government should pay the
in issues
ransom?
like this, the state should be on top of it. Even if the family members are the one going to be delivering the money, they should not be the one having to sort the money out.
Right, okay.
Delivering the money on the basis of the fact that it becomes a link, it becomes a route to get to the kidnappers and retrieve the money back and retrieve the money back.
Because it's the state that has the resources to do that.
Exactly.
And the wherewithal.
And it takes me back to the point that has been mentioned, the state of the Nigerian police. The waterways are becoming extremely very active in recent period. And it takes me back to when we were kids going to school. I'm always very happy in a sense when I return back to the 80s, the European government under Latif Jakonde, which did extensively very well. That was a government that for the first time created online transport, public funded transportation on our marine waters. And you ask me, our marines provides a very interway waterways that will go a long way to even relieve all of the traffic we have on our land routes. And this is one route that our kidnappers and criminal elements are taking advantage of currently. So what is the state of the police in terms of policing our waters?
These are so many questions that we have to really ask and answer.
The question of equipping the police, the funding, which has been mentioned, the state of the poor funding of various institutions. And for people like us, the question is not that the country lacks all of these resources. The resources are available.
It's a political will that's
deploying them and using them. Comrade Dagatola, thank you for coming on the program this morning. It's good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Fola,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Thank